And I've been having good luck with Zoom lately. I don't want to jinx it, but as always, if it kicks me out at any point, just hold whatever posture you're in. As long as it's not an arm balance, that would be bad. But other than that. So getting started in your child's pose, bringing your knees to mat with distance, walking the hands forward. Just let your forehead come to the mat. Just take a moment in this child's pose, start to tune in with how your body's feeling. And tune in with your breath and mind as well, just kind of taking a check through your entire body, noticing where you're at, where you're starting at this morning. And allow the breath to start to deepen a little bit more, and with each exhale, letting go of a distraction or an excess thought that doesn't have to do with your yoga practice. Let the breath move into the backs of the ribs as well as the low back. Maybe even expand into the sides of the ribs and the belly. That area is usually available for breath in this posture. And gently start to tiptoe your fingers over to the right, finding our side bend here. You can stack the left hand on top of the right, anchor the left hip back down towards the heels. Just create that really nice side stretch through the left side. Think about breathing through the left ribs and allowing them to expand outward. Take an inhale, gently tiptoe your fingers back through center. And then exhale over to the left side. Same side stretch here. This time opening up through the right. You can always stack the right hand over left and anchor that right hip back down towards the heels. And this time the right side is available for breath. So let the right side of that rib cage really expand. Let that even deepen the stretch here. And gently start to tiptoe your fingers back to center. Take a moment to find active arms in your child's pose. So come to spider fingers, so those fingertips, palms come off the floor. Activate your arms so that your elbows and triceps lift off the mat as well. Take one round of breath right here. Now allow your hands to come flat again and then make your way to a tabletop position. So stacking the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees, working into our cows and cats. So inhale, drop the belly, bring the gaze high, arch through the front of the body, finding your cow pose. And then exhale, curl into your cat, contracting the core. Think about tucking the tailbone and rounding the shoulders. Inhale, drop the belly, bring the gaze high again. Really think about lifting the collarbone towards the ceiling. And then exhale, curl into your cat. Feel that contraction through the front of your body. Now adding the legs into the mix, we've done this a few times. As you inhale into your cow pose, start to flex your feet and draw your heels in towards your glutes. Just notice how that engages the hamstrings. And then as you exhale into your cat, allow the tops of the feet to come to the floor. Press the shins into the mat and maybe even hover the knees 1 inch off the floor. Letting the knees come down, inhale into your cow pose again. Heels come in towards the glutes, activate the hamstrings. And then exhale, tops of the feet come down, curl it into your cat and hover the knees off the floor. Allow your knees to come back down again. Find your neutral spine. Let your left leg extend back behind you. And it doesn't necessarily need to be off the floor. We're just using that to pivot on our right knee to find our gate latch facing the side of the mat, so towards the left side of your mat. Allow your left hand to come to your left leg and reach your right fingertips up and over. Find a deep side bend here. You can look up towards that right arm. Remember, the more you slide your left arm down your leg, the deeper of a stretch you'll get. Take another inhale here. As you exhale, reach a little more deep and a little bit more. Inhale, make your way back to your capital T upright. Then as you exhale, let your hands come down right in front of you for your puppy dog here. So just finding that opening in the front of the shoulders. You might even get a stretch in your left leg. Make sure the tailbone is still nice and high. You might feel something in your left inner thigh. Imagine that your collarbone and sternum are melting down towards the floor. Take one more breath here. Inhale, gently start to walk your hands back, and then all the way towards the front of your mat, finding a high plank. So that left leg stays straight, And just stepping the right leg back for a moment. You can always do this as a forearm plank as well. We're just holding this for about 3 breaths here. Just starting to activate the core, establishing that long line from the crown of the head to the heels, slight doming through the shoulders. One more inhale here. And exhale, knees come down, your back in your tabletop position. From here, right leg extends back, pivoting on your knee to face the right side of your mat for our gate latch on the other side. So arms come to that capital T shape, then right arm to right leg. Left fingertips reach up and over, gazing under that arm. Create that same side stretch on this side. Take another inhale. Exhale, deepen, reach a little bit more. Inhale, use your obliques to bring you back to your capital T upright. Then exhale, hands come down in front of you. Puppy dog on this side. This time maybe feeling a stretch in your right leg. Letting your sternum relax towards the floor. Feel the opening underneath the arms into the armpits and lats. One full round of breath right here. Inhale, start to walk your hands back to the middle, then all the way towards the front of your mat. Let right leg stays long to again find your high plank. Taking 3 more breaths right here. Continue pressing the floor away from you. Activate the core. Think about really activating the legs as well. Take a final inhale here. Downward dog on your exhale. Send the hips up nice and high. Find that V shape in the body, lifting the tailbone towards the ceiling. Take a few breaths here to pedal out. Do whatever you need in this first down dog. Check out how your calves feel, how the backs of your legs feel today, as well as the ankles. Also observe the hands, the arms, the shoulders. And again, just becoming aware of how the body's feeling. Start to work into stillness in your downward dog. So letting both heels settle towards the mat. Activate the legs and the quads. Palms and all 10 fingers press into the floor. Tailbone lifts nice and high. On your next inhale, right leg lifts up. Just finding a 3-legged dog to open the hips, bend the knee. Circle the ankle, circle the knee, whatever you need here. Try to keep your right shoulder square for just 1 more breath. Inhale, stretch your leg to the ceiling, square off the hips. Exhale, downward dog again, right foot meets the left. Inhale, left foot reaches high, finding your 3-legged on the other side. Same thing, open the hips, bend the knee, circle, whatever you need. Left shoulder stays square to the floor. On your next inhale, straighten the legs, square off the hips. And exhale, let that foot land. From here, bring your gaze forward, start to walk your feet towards your ragdoll. So legs come hip-width distance at the top of the mat. Take your left hand underneath your face. We'll take that same twisted ragdoll today. So bending your left knee, inhale, extend your right arm to the ceiling. Then as you exhale, maybe you take that half bind, letting it be really gentle. We're not super warm yet. If you want, you can start to find that tuck of the left shoulder inside of the left knee by bending the left arm a little bit and allowing your shoulder to come to that inside edge of the knee. Just knowing how that feels, starting to create that little bit of compression in the front of that left hip, that mobility. If you tucked your shoulder, straighten your left arm again, untuck it. Inhale, reach your right fingertips high to release the bind. And exhale, right hand comes down to replace the left hand. Right leg bends this time as the left leg straightens. And inhale, reach the left fingertips high. Option to bind as you exhale. Option to start to hook that right shoulder inside of the leg by bending the right elbow and just feeling that contact again. We can always press the knee into the shoulder, shoulder into the knee. This will also help increase the twist in the body. Take 1 more breath here. Gently start to untuck that shoulder, straightening through the right arm again. Inhale, reach the left fingertips high. And exhale, left hand comes back to the mat. Take your bend in both legs to take a ragdoll in the middle for a second. Let your head hang heavy, shake it yes and no. Whatever you need here to feel length through your spine and that separation between all the vertebrae. Now keeping that gentle bend in the knees, start to roll up through the spine 1 vertebra at a time. Let your head be the last thing to come up. And once you arrive, taking a big shoulder roll up and back, stepping your feet together underneath you at the top of the mat. Taking your standing mountain pose for a moment, your Tadasana, root down through your legs into the floor. Feel the crown of your head reach to the ceiling and arms are active, palms facing forward. As you inhale, reach your arms high, let your gaze follow. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Take a moment to bow your chin and close your eyes and set an intention for your practice today. Whatever you would like to dedicate this practice to, however you would like to focus your mind throughout this hour. Sealing that intention with a breath, take a deep inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Seal the lips, start to find your Ujjayi breath. In and out through the nose, we create that slight constriction at the back of the throat. It might create that oceanic sound without it being forced, so that's just a product of the motion of the breath that we're taking. Take about 3 full Ujjayi breaths here and let it start to generate heat within the body. Final breath. Gently blink your eyes open. We maintain this breath as we move into our Sun A. So as you inhale, reach your arms high, let your gaze follow. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, take your forward fold. That's our Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthening the spine. Exhale, plant the palms, step back into a high plank, knees up or down. Take an inhale here as you exhale, moving into your Chaturanga, hugging the elbows into the body, legs are active, then lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck the toes once you arrive, and as you inhale, find a baby cobra as well as lifting your right leg. So chest lifts, right leg lifts. Keep the left foot pressing into the floor. Feel the back of that right leg start to engage. Make sure it's really straight here. On your exhale, let your chest and leg come down. As you inhale, it's chest and left leg. So that baby cobra in the upper body, lifting the left leg off. Make sure that that knee still spirals towards the floor, so no external rotation. On an exhale, let your chest and leg come down. On your next inhale, chest and both legs come up. So finding a little locust variation here. Elbows still hug into the body, legs are active. On your next exhale, chest and legs come down. On an inhale, press through your tabletop position. Then exhale, downward dog. Send those hips up nice and high. Take a moment in this down dog, 1 or 2 breaths to regain your Ujjayi in case you lost it. Now gently bring your gaze forward, step your feet to the top of the mat, toes come to touch underneath you. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky, let your gaze follow, root through the legs. Then exhale, hinge forward from the hips, right back into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the palms, step back into your high plank once more. Take an inhale in this plank. As you exhale, Chaturanga, or lower yourself all the way down to your belly. Your inhale is an upward dog or a baby cobra, maybe with one of those leg variations. Then as we exhale, we make our way to downward dog, either just lifting the hips or pressing through your tabletop. Once you arrive in your down dog, 2 full Ujjayi breaths. Bring your gaze forward, step your feet to the top of the mat, toes come to touch underneath you. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthening the spine, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose here. Bend the legs, reach the arms up, sit nice and low in that chair. Now bring your hands to heart center. Same thing as last time. We're finding eagle legs with our left leg on top. Now today you have the option to find your full eagle legs if you feel ready. So we're crossing the thighs, left over right. Maybe you hook the foot around. Take a moment in this eagle position in the legs. Feel the torso nice and long, crown of the head to the ceiling as low as you sit in those legs. On your next inhale, unwind the legs, draw the left knee into the chest. And exhale, step your left foot back, setting up for our warrior 1. Making sure your stance is wide enough so that you can bend nice and deep into that right leg. The left heel presses down into the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up nice and high. Maybe find a little bit of a back bend here. Then exhale, hands come down to frame your right foot. Inhale, step back into a high plank. Now from here, as you exhale, bring your right knee towards your right tricep. Option to try to find Chaturanga here today with the contact knee to tricep. If you found Chaturanga, start to straighten the arms again. This time we draw the right knee into the chest so that knee is still bent in towards us, but now contracting into the midline. Now step that foot through between the hands, finding our low lunge. And inhale, shift forward. Lift your left leg to 90 degrees. Take a moment to make sure the hips are square, left leg is active. As you exhale, left foot meets the right in a forward fold. Release the chest down. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold forward again. Inhale, chair pose again. Bend into those legs. Reach the arms up nice and high. This time we're eagling right leg over left. So starting to draw the right knee into the chest. Hands will come to heart center as you cross the thighs. Maybe hook the foot around. We have about 2 full rounds of breath again, sitting nice and deep into that left leg. Torso is nice and strong, crown of the head to the ceiling. One more breath. Inhale, start to draw your right knee into your chest. Then exhale, reach it long back behind you to step into our warrior one. You may need to widen your stance a little to bend nice and deep into your left leg. As you inhale, reach the arms up high, maybe take a little back bend. Then exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Inhale, step back into your high plank. Now same thing here, as you exhale, it's left knee to left tricep. Maybe you find chaturanga arms, maybe you don't. As you inhale, you straighten those arms if you found chaturanga. Everyone draws the left knee into the chest, to midline. Then exhale, step through between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, shift your weight forward, find that 90-degree lift of the legs. Active right leg, spiral the hip down towards the floor. Then exhale, forward fold. Right foot meets the left, release the chest down. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold forward again. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, bend the legs, reach the arms up nice and high. This time we are eagling the arms, so allow your right arm to cross over left, right over left first. Crossing right over left, bend the elbows, maybe you bring your palms together, maybe you draw your hands around your shoulders. Once you establish your eagle arms, start to shift your weight over to your right leg, find a Shiva squat. So left knee comes to tap the right calf. See if you can bend a little deeper into your right leg. From here, keep that bend in the right leg. Start to reach the left leg long behind you so that you can step into your warrior one with eagle arms. Inhale, find a little back bend, reaching the fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale, maintain your eagle arms as you humble your warrior. Today, maybe you see if you can slide your right shoulder inside of the right knee to give yourself a little bit of a deeper hip opener here. Let the head drop nice and heavy. You have one more full breath. Now releasing your eagle arms at the bottom of your humble warrior. Inhale, let your arms bring you all the way up, reaching both fingertips to the ceiling. Then exhale, hands come down to frame your right foot in a low lunge. Now make this a true low lunge this time. Slide your left leg back, let the knee come down and untuck the toes. As you inhale, reach your arms up. It's our Anjaneyasana. Drop the hips down nice and low. As you exhale, cactus the arms with a back bend. So really lift the heart to the ceiling. Inhale, reach the arms high once more. Exhale, half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Now today, if you are working towards full splits, you can have that option. This is a great time to take 2 blocks underneath your hands, or even take a block underneath your pelvis to give yourself a little height. So if you are working on full splits or want to get there, make sure you stay supported. Make sure the hips stay square the entire time. Wherever you are, we have about 4 full breaths. If you're in your half splits, continue pulling your right hip back and right pinky toe back. Length through the collarbone towards the toes. 2 more breaths. If you're in your full splits, carefully start to make your way back to your half splits. And then everyone starts to bend into their front leg to work into our lizard next. So that right leg bends nice and deep. Allow both hands to come inside of the right leg. Now today you have a couple options. If you want to take it a little deeper and work on hooking the shoulder under the leg, you can start to walk your hands back and see if you can just reach your arms long to the sides with your right arm reaching underneath the right leg. So it ends up being right arm under left or under right leg, reaching nice and long. Start to see how that feels for your body. If that feels good, you can always come down to your forearms, keeping the right arm hooked under the right leg. Wherever you are, we have 2 more breaths. And gently coming back to your hands in this lizard. Now, option today, if you want to work on finding chaturanga with a hovering leg from here, you can walk your hands back slightly. Everyone tucks their left toes to engage, kneecap comes off the mat. If you want to find chaturanga, you'll start to bend those elbows and hover that right foot off the floor. If you're staying in your high plank, see if you can keep your arms straight. Right knee still presses into right tricep and just lift that foot. Wherever we are, if you're in chaturanga, allow the right leg to step back. Everyone moves through an optional vinyasa here. So you can either take your chaturanga upward downward dog, or you can just press your hips high to downward dog, whatever feels good. Take 1 full Ujjayi breath once you reach your downward dog. Now bring your gaze forward, step your feet to the top of the mat, toes come together underneath you. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen your spine, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose again, reach those arms up nice and high. This time we find eagle arms left over right, so bending left over right. Find whatever variation you took on the first side, making sure you're sitting nice and low in that chair. Elbows lift away from the heart, so think fingertips to the ceiling. Now start to shift your weight over to your left leg so that your right leg can move into your Shiva squat. Keep bending nice and deep into the leg. Arms are still reaching high. Now keeping this bend in the left leg, start to reach your right leg back as far as you can to land in your warrior 1 with eagle arms. From here, keep the eagle as you inhale, heart to the ceiling, find a little back bend. Then exhale, humble your warrior with your eagle arms. Allowing the fingertips to point towards the floor. Maybe you try hooking your left shoulder inside of your left leg. Let the head drop. We have 2 more breaths. Gently releasing the eagle arms at the bottom here. As you inhale, let your arms circle to bring you all the way up into your warrior 1. Then exhale, hands come down to frame that foot. Let the right leg slide back so that the knee can come down onto the floor. Untuck the toes. Inhale, reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana, hips dropping. At least you guys were in Anjaneyasana and not something else, and you kept going, perfect. So take your half splits. I know you guys were in Anjaneyasana for a long time. So I'm shifting everything back. Okay, we're back. I spoke too soon earlier. Okay, so you're in your half splits. So same options here. You can either keep your half splits or work into your full splits. So as always, if you work into that full split, use blocks if you need, making sure the hips stay square. You have about 4 breaths in these full splits. Recenter your breath, recenter your mind in case that was a distraction. Take 2 more breaths here. Full splits, start to make your way back into your half splits. And then everyone starts to walk the weight forward to set up for our lizard. So both hands come inside of that leg. Now same option here, if you want to play with hooking the shoulder under, you can take that capital T in the arms by walking your left hand under your left leg and right leg out to the side as well. See how that feels. If it feels good, maybe you come down to the elbows, keeping the left arm hooked outside of the left leg. All totally optional. We're just targeting those hips a little bit more. Take 2 more breaths. Gently start to unhook that hand, walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. Now, same couple options that you can take for your transition here. Everyone will engage that back leg and lift the knee off the mat. If you want to try that chaturanga, you can walk the hands back slightly, bend the elbows, and see if you can hover that left knee. If you want to keep your high plank, you keep the arms straight. See if you can hover the knee off or hover the foot off just for a second. Wherever you are, you either step back into your chaturanga or your high plank, optional vinyasa. Move through whatever feels good for your body. And then we eventually arrive in our down dog. Take 3 full breaths in this downward dog. Allow them to be cleansing breaths if you need to release a little bit of heat right now. So big exhales through the mouth. Take 2 more breaths. Seal the lips and find your Ujjayi breath once more. Bring your gaze forward, step your feet to the top of the mat, toes together underneath you. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen your spine, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose again, lots of chairs today. Bend those legs, reach the arms up nice and high. Now we're working towards our full eagle on the left side first. So starting with the legs, start to hover your left leg off, left leg crosses over right, taking whatever depth of those eagle legs you want to take. With our arms, it's right arm over left arm, right over left, finding that eagle shape here. Sit nice and deep into your legs. Keep squeezing everything into your midline. Now from here, keep your eagle arms. Inhale, start to draw your left knee into your chest as you straighten the right leg. Exhale, warrior 3 with eagle arms. So start to kick that leg back, tip the body forward, aiming for your capital T shape here. Stay nice and strong in those legs. You only have 1 more inhale. Exhale, start to bend your right leg, reach your left leg back for our crescent lunge with eagle arms. So now your torso comes upright again, press forward with your left heel. Gently release your arms down by your sides and inhale, reach them high to the sky. As you exhale, we take a prayer twist. So bringing your hands through heart center, hook your left elbow to the outside of the right leg. Allowing this little rotation in the spine, you can really use that left elbow for leverage. If it feels good, you can look towards your right elbow. Maybe you extend both arms, reaching your left fingertips to the floor, right fingertips to the sky. Wherever you are, on your next inhale, start to bring yourself back to the center of your crescent lunge, reaching the arms high. Then exhale, warrior 2. Capital T in your arms, gaze over those right fingertips. Inhale, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, reach the right fingertips up and back. Find your nice side bend here, just like we did in our gate latch. Take 1 more inhale. And exhale, extended side angle. Elbow comes to the knee, left arm sweeps across the body. Now today, option for binding if you want. You can always slide that right hand inside of the right foot. You might hook that left arm behind your body. You might take your right arm underneath your leg to find your full bind. Wherever you are, you have 2 breaths to work through this. If you bound, gently start to release, reaching those left fingertips back forward. As you inhale, move through your warrior 2 to straighten your legs, finding our star pose. So hips face the side of the mat, heels come in, toes are out. Inhale, reach the arms high. So imagine energy through both fingertips and down through your feet. As you exhale, find your goddess. Bend those legs, drop the hips nice and low. Today, allow your hands to come to your knees. And then drop one shoulder down. So it doesn't matter which one, you're letting one shoulder come down, using your hands as leverage to keep pressing the knees side. Take 1 more round of breath here on this first twist. Inhale, move back through center. Exhale, twist the other way. So opposite shoulder comes down. Keep pressing your knees side with your arms. Use this as an opportunity to stretch. Inhale, move back through center. Start to straighten your legs, reaching your arms high again into our star pose. As you exhale, we find Skandasana in the left leg. So bend your left leg, right leg stays straight, dropping the hips nice and low. You might flex your right foot. You might not, whichever variation feels good for you. Now today we have time to work on a bind here as well. So if you want, you can release those hands down, tuck your left shoulder inside of your left leg, to reach those fingertips out to the side. You might then extend your right fingertips to the ceiling. Keep finding this here, or if you want to work towards a bind, you can reach your arms around your left leg to grab behind your back. Wherever you are, we have 1 more full round of breath. On your next inhale, release your bind if you have it, and then bringing your hands to heart center or fingertips to the floor.
Now, goal here is no hands. We're making our way back to a low lunge at the front of our mat. So you can always shift to plant your foot to the side if you want, but wherever you go, keep your body low, bend into that right leg, square yourself towards it, finding that low lunge. Nice work, you guys. From here, step your left leg forward to the top of your mat. Bring your feet nice and wide for our Malasana, our yogi squat. So drop the hips low, moment to breathe here. Take a block underneath you if you need. Hands come to heart center. Now, two options today. You can either work on that pancake crow that we took last time, or you can start to work through a little bit of a deeper opener in this Malasana. So if you want to start hooking one shoulder inside of your right leg to extend the arm, you can feel free to do that. Maybe you find your bind, but only doing the right side. We'll be here later, so just taking the right side of that shoulder opener. Otherwise, you can work into your pancake crow, planting the hands in front of you, keeping those frog-like legs so that you can shift your weight forward, elbows on the insides of the shins, body stays nice and flat. Wherever you are, take about 2 or 3 more breaths. Nice, you guys. Release your bind if you have it, extending the arms long. If you're still in your Malasana, bring your hands back to heart center, pancake crow, come back to Malasana. Allow your arms to release down to the floor and start to straighten your legs. Just give yourself a little shake side to side, cha-cha the legs, releasing through the compression in the backs of the knees. And when you're ready, start to tiptoe your feet back to your midline, finding a forward fold here. Inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Working into our tree pose, standing on our left leg, right leg will come up. So starting to shift your weight towards the left, right heel comes off the floor. Find your external rotation in the leg. Foot comes either to the inside of the ankle, the inner calf, or the inner thigh, bringing it all the way up. Wherever you go, find your balance here. You might start to grow your branches. You might today try a side bend. So by doing that, you can bring your right hand to your right knee. Start to reach your left fingertips up and over towards the right side. So you're using the pressure of the right foot into the left leg to oppose the force of your left arm reaching up and over. It's really hard. Keep your single point of focus. Wherever you are, you have 1 more breath. The side bend is very challenging, so if you fall out of it, jump back in. Everyone inhales, come back to center. Bring your hands back to heart center if your branches grew. Draw your right knee into your chest. And exhale, release that foot down. Take a moment here in the Samasthiti, hands at heart center, legs in Tadasana shape. Allow your eyes to close, regain your intention, regain your focus. Gently blink your eyes open, step your feet to the top of the mat in case you migrated elsewhere. From here, inhale, find your chair pose again. Reach those arms down and up, bend nice and deep into those legs. Final standing push of this practice, our left side. So this time, eagling on the right first. So right leg draws into the chest, cross the right leg over left leg, then hook that foot. Right arm will come under left arm. So it's gonna be left over right with the arms. Find this nice deep eagle here. Feel everything squeezing into your midline. Take 1 more full round of breath. Now keep the eagle arms. Inhale, start to draw your right leg into your chest as you straighten through the left leg. Exhale, it's our eagle with warrior 3 legs. So eagle arms, warrior 3 legs, kicking the right leg back. Keep that hip square to the floor as the fingertips reach forward. Take 1 more inhale here. Exhale, start to bend your left leg, reaching your right leg back as far as you can to find your crescent, bringing your torso back upright. Make sure your right heel is pressing forward. Gently release your arms down by your sides. As you inhale, reach them up to the ceiling. Exhale, it's our prayer twist. So hands come through heart center. Right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Keep your legs squeezing in towards your midline. Gaze might shift towards the left elbow. Maybe you extend the arms, reaching the fingertips down and up, using that as leverage. From here, on your next inhale, bring your body back into your crescent lunge, squaring everything off. Then exhale, find your warrior two, capital T shape in those arms. Make sure you bend nice and deep into that left leg. Inhale, flip your front palm, reverse that warrior. Reach the left fingertips up and back, create the deep side stretch. Breathe into the left side of your rib cage. One more inhale here. Exhale, extended side angle. Elbow comes to that knee, right arm sweeps across. Now working into whatever version you did on this first side. So maybe you slide that hand down to the floor. Maybe you take a half bind. Maybe you take a full bind. If you take that full bind, the goal is to lift your left rib cage off of the thigh. So that left leg is really supporting you, but you're also supporting your torso independently. Wherever you are, take 2 more breaths. Gently release the bind if you have it, reaching those left fingertips forward again. Inhale, come all the way up, straightening your right leg. This time pivoting both toes to face the side of your mat, so paralleling your feet. Bring your hands to your hips and inhale, open through the heart. As you exhale, fold forward into your Prasarita. Now today, you have 2 options with your arms. You can either walk them back in between your legs, finding Chaturanga, so your fingertips will still point forward, or you can start to walk them back with straight arms, palms will be down towards the mat. So wherever you are, we're creating that same sensation of trying to tuck the torso inside of the legs. If that does not happen within your Prasarita, it's not a big deal, but just envisioning that the legs almost come over the torso. Take about 2 more full breaths here. Gently start to walk your hands back underneath your face. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Now just pivot the right toes so there's external rotation in the leg, and exhale into your Skandasana, into that right leg. So now that left leg is long to our side. Your foot is either flexed or planted on the floor if that's more comfortable for you. Hands can stay down on the ground or come to heart center. You might start to work into that shoulder opener where you can tuck your right shoulder inside of the leg, extend the arms long, opening the heart towards the ceiling. Maybe you find a bind. Wherever you are, you have a couple breaths here, finding that compression in the right side, that tuck of the right shoulder inside of the right knee. Final breath. Gently start to release your bind if you took it, extending your arms long. Then bring your hands back to heart center or fingertips to the floor. Now trying to keep it in one smooth motion again, we start to push through that right leg to bend the left leg, squaring everything off at the front of our mat into our low lunge. Nice, you guys. Let those hands come down. Step your right foot forward. Second Vinyasa right here. So bring your feet to about mat width distance. Drop the hips down nice and low. Hands come to heart center. Now, if you took your shoulder opener and that bind on the first side, this time your left shoulder will come inside of your left leg to extend the arms and bind. If you want to work into an arm balance, you can either work through that pancake crow again or take a traditional Bakasana. So whichever one feels good for you. So lots of options here, either working into your shoulder and hip opener or working into an arm balance. Noticing the differences between crow and Bakasana or crow and pancake crow. Wherever you are, you have 2 more breaths. Nice, you guys. Arm balances, make your way back to Malasana. If you extended the arms in your Malasana, bring them back to heart center. Everyone allow your hands to come to the floor, straighten through those legs, send the hips high. Same little shift side to side here, just releasing compression through the backs of your knees. Gently tiptoe your feet together underneath you, finding your forward fold. Inhale, find a halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward again. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the ceiling, gaze follows, and exhale, hands come to heart center. Working into our tree pose on the opposite side. So this time, right leg roots down into the floor. Left leg starts to bend and externally rotates. Find the height that feels best for you. So that might be calf, it might be inner thigh. It might be toes on the floor. Once you establish your legs in your tree pose, feel the opposition of the left foot pressing into the right leg and vice versa. From here, you might extend your branches. Maybe you start to work into that side bend. Left hand comes to that left knee. Imagine that it helps with your balance. Then start to reach your right fingertips up and over. Keep pressing the left foot into the right leg. The right hips might move slightly to the right. Oppositional force here is your best friend. So everything you move in one direction, you've got to push something in the other direction. Wherever you are, take one more or two more full breaths. Inhale, start to bring your body back upright. Hands come to heart center. Draw your left knee into your chest. And then let your left foot meet the right, standing mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms up nice and high. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back into a downward dog. So just lift the hips up nice and high. Take 3 cleansing breaths here in this downward dog. So deep inhale through the nose. Open mouth, let it go. 2 more inhale. Exhale, let it go. Final one, inhale. Exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, reach your right leg high. Then exhale, half pigeon. Right leg comes forward. Place a block underneath your hip if you need. Give yourself whatever extra support your body needs today. With this pigeon, we're just taking that simple forward fold. But before we do, just take your hands back by your hips for a moment. Inhale, find a gentle back bend. Notice if you can shift your weight slightly more towards the left side. Then exhale, start to walk yourself forward. Now we do have one option today you can take if you want to find a twist. So with this pigeon pose, if you want, you can take your left arm, thread it underneath the right arm so that you're twisting towards that right leg. Your left ear will come to the mat. That might be enough. If you want extra, you can reach your right arm back behind you to find a half bind or actually grab that right foot. It's a lot of kind of blind searching for the foot if you choose to do that, but you'll find it eventually. You can also just keep your normal half pigeon, finding the squareness over the leg. Let's take 3 more full breaths right here. If you found a bind, gently release your right hand, bringing it back underneath you. Unwind if you've twisted, allowing the left hand to come back to the mat. If you have something under your hip, slide it out so that you can roll over to your right hip. Left leg will cross over the right for our seated twist. So left foot plants outside of the right thigh, left hand comes behind you, right arm comes to the outside of that left knee. Take an inhale here, find some length. As you exhale, start to twist, gazing over your left shoulder. Inhale, lengthen again. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Final inhale. Exhale, gently release, find your baby push up on the opposite side of your body, just letting the body come low. And then bring yourself back to center. So throwing in a new one today, and if you discover your body simply doesn't go here, no big deal. It's not the end of the world. But we're creating another little kind of glute piriformis stretch using our left leg. So your right leg can stay where it is, or it can eventually extend out if that feels better for you. But we're going to pick up the left leg. Think about you're just hugging it into your chest. So think you're creating a half pigeon pose, hugging it into the chest. You might hook that foot into your elbow and wrap your left arm around that leg so that you can literally hold around the shin. So that's step 1, going to whatever depth is available to you. Now just take a moment here. You can take a little rock side to side, just playing with the mobility you can create in this leg. Now from here, you can either stay here, or if you want to try it, you can take your right hand to the outside of your left foot and just tuck your left shoulder inside of your left leg, just to see what that feels like. See if it's available. If you want, you can kind of leverage it a little more so the left leg just hooks over the shoulder. And then we're just going here for a little bit. So this is essentially some of the mobility that you want to work towards in your running man, just that kind of shoulder underneath the leg feeling. So just take another round of breath here. This is not the end all be all though of that posture, and it doesn't really demonstrate the full mobility of your hips, but it helps a little bit. Gently start to release that leg, so bringing it back down to the floor, and just extend both legs out in front of you for a Paschimottanasana. So squeezing your legs together, flexing the feet nice and strong. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Maintain the length as you exhale, fold over the legs. Bringing the hands to the feet, the pinky toes pull back towards your face as you pull your torso forward with your arms. Keep the core strong, keep lengthening the crown of the head towards the toes. Take about 4 full breaths here. Gently start to release the arms, bringing the torso upright. From here, just cross the legs underneath you, roll over the shins to find your downward dog. So stepping the feet back, lift the hips up nice and high. Once you establish your down dog, we'll inhale, lift the left leg high to the sky, and exhale, bring it through into your half pigeon. So setting yourself up here again, whatever you need underneath that hip. If you want some props there, we'll take a moment to walk those hands back by the hips. Inhale, take a moment to find a little bit of a back bend and take your weight over to the right side. Then exhale, walk yourself back forward. Now, if you want to take the twisting and binding option on this side, it'll be the right arm that threads underneath the left arm, so that palm will be up to the ceiling. You'll eventually let your right shoulder come down and right ear come down. Left arm can reach back behind you to find a half bind. Maybe you search for those left toes and grab onto the foot. Wherever you choose to go, just allow yourself to breathe, enjoy this relaxed posture. Let's take about 4 more breaths here. Gently start to release your bind if you found it, planting that hand to the floor. Unwind your right arm if you threaded it underneath you. From here, remove your block if you have it under your tailbone, and then eventually roll over to that left hip so that the right leg can come across to step to the outside of your left thigh. Working into our seated twist on this side. So right hand comes behind the tailbone, left elbow comes to the outside of the right knee. Take an inhale, find some length. And exhale, start to twist, gazing over your right shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Final inhale. Exhale, gently release your twist. Bring both hands to the opposite side for your little push-up here, finding your counter pose. Then bringing the torso upright, we get a chance to find that funny upright pigeon thing on the right leg. So I've yet to figure out what this one's called. I'm sure it has a name, but someone asked me once and I have no idea. So just draw your right leg into your chest like a pigeon pose. And then there's that option to hook the foot inside of that elbow, and the other hand can wrap around the shin. Think you're just giving yourself a hug here. You might rock side to side if that feels good, just taking a second to work through the mobility that you can create in your leg. Now from here, option to try hooking that leg over the shoulder. So if you want, that left hand will come to the outside of your right foot, your right arm will thread through, and it can hook over your tricep too. It doesn't necessarily need to hook all the way over. You can hook the leg right over your tricep, but if you want, you can start to leverage that leg so that it's all the way over the shoulder. And just taking a second here. Not doing anything in particular with this pose, just kind of observing the mobility, that feeling of having the leg hooked over the shoulder. Take about 1 more full breath here. Now gently releasing that leg, taking both legs long out in front of you once more, then opening them to the side for a wide-legged forward fold. So however that feels good for you to orient yourself on the mat, we're bringing the legs nice and wide, flexing the feet, activating the legs. Take an inhale, find some length, then exhale, walk yourself forward. Trying to keep the arms active, the legs active, so really flex your feet, engage the quads. Take about 5 full breaths here.
allowing that release to happen in the inner thighs. Couple more breaths. And on your next inhale, start to walk yourself up nice and slow. Leaning back slightly, allow your hands to come to the backs of the legs and bring them back in front of you, squaring yourself to the front of the mat if you had to turn. Just take a windshield wiper one way, then the other. Linger in that internal rotation on each side. Let this feel really good for that internal rotation of the hip. After you finish around, let both legs extend in front of you. We're taking our slow roll to the back, so nothing fancy, knowing that the slower you go, the more you can use your core, the more you can articulate through your spine. Keep your heels pressing into the mat the entire time. Keep reaching towards the front of the room. Eventually, when you reach your back, just letting your feet come to the floor. So bending your knees, setting up for a couple bridge poses real quick. So the feet will be hip width distance, toes point forward, arms come down by the sides. Once your feet are established, inhale, start to lift your hips to the ceiling, just activating the back of the body using those glutes, using the hamstrings. Imagine you're squeezing a block between your legs to activate the inner thighs. Take one more inhale here. And exhale, articulate through the spine as you lower the hips back down to the mat. We'll do that one more time. So take a second here. You can let your knees fall in towards each other. You can windshield wiper. Eventually reset your feet, hip width, toes forward again. And inhale, lift those hips up. This time, if it feels good, you might tuck one shoulder, then the other underneath you to bind the hands, interlacing the fingers, using that bind to help press into the floor and lift the hips up higher. Wherever you go, take another round of breath. Gently release your bind if you have it, and then gently start to lower yourself back down to the floor. Take a moment to let the knees fall in towards each other, maybe let them rock side to side, just releasing the lower back. And then from here, draw your right knee into your chest, let your left leg extend long onto the mat. So a new wind reliever variation today that might not be new to you, but new to this class. So you can either take your traditional wind reliever where you wrap your arms around your shins and pull the knee down and around the rib cage, or you can take a half happy baby with your right leg. So imagine the sole of the foot's to the ceiling. Both hands wrap around the bottom of that foot, and you use your arms to pull your right knee down and around the rib cage. So that's your two different options here. That feeling is almost like you're creating a lizard pose, but reclined. So the way your torso can come inside of that leg, imagine your right foot is planted on the ceiling as you draw the knee down the rib cage. Whichever variation you choose to take, that left side is still anchored into the floor, so we don't roll towards that leg. Take about 3 more breaths here. Inhale, start to bring your leg back to center, so just drawing the knee into the chest in your midline. Then as you exhale, bring the right leg across the body into a supine twist, allowing the right arm to extend out to the side. Your gaze can shift over to the right, making sure that you can untuck those shoulders and then lower them back down so that your right shoulder feels really anchored and you feel broad across your upper back. Take a moment to even close your eyes. We have 5 breaths here. And gently bring your head back to center. Legs come back to center. Draw both knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. You can rock side to side if that feels good. Doing whatever you need to hit that reset button on the hips and low back. Then keep your left leg drawn into your chest, right leg extends long. Now taking whatever option you did on the first side. So you can either flex both feet and wrap your arms around your shin to find your more traditional wind reliever on this side. Or you can bend your knee so the sole of the foot is to the ceiling, hands wrap around the foot, and you can pull your knee down and around the rib cage. Whichever one you choose to do, your right side anchors back down into the floor. We're creating that deep compression in the front of the hip. Take about 3 to 4 more breaths here. Next inhale, gently start to bring your right knee back into your chest, back into your midline. And then as you exhale, cross it over the body, find your supine twist, let your left arm extend long to the side. If you need to untuck your shoulders so that your chest can square to the ceiling more, feel free. Allow your eyes to close, let your legs feel really heavy, let your torso feel really heavy. 5 full breaths here. Gently start to bring your head back to center, legs back to center. Give yourself a little squeeze. Start to curl yourself into a little ball, drawing your chin into your chest, wrapping your arms around the legs. Any extra tension, any extra energy, gather it all in here. And one last inhale. And exhale, Shavasana. Let your legs extend long. Let the arms release down by the sides, palms face up. Allow the eyes to close and let your body release. Let go of the hour, what worked, what didn't work, let it all go. If any thoughts come into the mind, let them pass. And allow the breath to find its natural rhythm in and out, whether it's the mouth or nose. The skin in the forehead relaxes, the eyebrows relax. The eyes fall back into the socket. Let the jaw unclench and the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. And start to create that same feeling through your entire body. Sink deeper and deeper into the floor, become heavier and heavier. And just take a few moments in this Shavasana. Keep your eyes closed. Start to deepen your breath.
Maybe wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Maybe let the head rock side to side. If it feels good, you can take a good morning stretch from your fingers down to your toes. And then eventually draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. And then again, keeping your eyes closed, keeping your focus internal. Whatever way it feels good to make your way to a seat, feel free to start to do that. Not worrying about what way you face or what way your legs are. Once you arrive in your seat, allow your hands to come to heart center and your chin to bow. Take a moment to thank yourself for doing something good for your mind and body for an hour out of your morning. The light within me meets, greets, and honors the light within both of you. Namaste. Nice work, you guys. I'll go ahead and unmute you. Hopefully your hips feel really open today after all of that. Let's see. There we go. I think you're all unmuted. I think, Kalai, you might need to unmute yourself. There we go. Perfect.
That's odd how I have to unmute, but.
I think with the newer version of Zoom, I don't think I've updated mine to the newest one yet. And apparently, like, members in the meeting have to unmute themselves for some reason for a security thing. So that might be why. I don't know. I should probably update mine. But at least you guys were stretching your hips when
Yeah.
That was good. Nice work, you guys.
Thank you.
That was really good.
That was really good.
Good, yeah. There's lots of ways to kind of even take all those hip openers deeper. So there's always more that you can do in all of those postures. So
Wow.
I was complaining.